There's an adventure inside all of us. Some of us live for that adventure. Others let it take them someplace new. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Mike Krueger. You're watching Coffee with Krueger on this Tuesday, July 21st. So glad you could join us this morning. And, interesting day yesterday. We did see the clouds out there. It's a little bit muggy, especially for the first half of the day in the valley as well. Now, this is something I talked about yesterday, and that is the lack of clearing of the skies. In order for us to really see any of that instability, what we call convective showers and thunderstorms, you need sunshine. Right? So if the clouds are covering the sun and preventing us from seeing any daytime heating, we don't see that upward lift from that daytime heating, and hence we don't see the thunderstorms. And that's essentially what happened yesterday. Now today, I think we're going to see less cloud cover, and as a result, better chances for thunderstorms. And I think really the bulk of the tropical moisture from Tropical Storm Elida is today. And then we start to go into those typical drier conditions here as we go into the next few days. But looking at the radar this morning, you can see a little bit of shower activity we did see last night east of the valley, and a little bit of shower activity this morning right now, mainly east of Highway 395 in places like Modoc County, Lassen County. But look to the south and west, you can see some moisture there as well, and a few showers as you get kind of closer to the south and west of Humboldt County. So this is kind of telling the story that the moisture is still there, and we're going to be looking at more of that activity here as in fact, better chances for those thunderstorms later on today. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the temperatures out there right now. We're in the low to mid 70s in the valley, and there you can see those low 60s. And you can see it looks like 66 degrees in Hoopa, 66 degrees in Willow Creek. Let's take a look at that satellite image from this morning. Now you can see the kind of that little ball of clouds, right? That's the area of low pressure. That's the remnants from what once was, it never made hurricane status, by the way, but it was a tropical storm, Elida. That's continued to move northward. And as it moves northward, what happens? It goes into the colder Pacific waters, and as a result, it starts to kind of break down. Now, the rain is embedded within that little ball of clouds, but you'll notice there's really no rain for the rest of Northern California, with the exception of some of that light activity that we are seeing. So Elida has been progressing northward, getting weaker and weaker as it moves northward, and as a result, it's just bringing us the added moisture. So remember I was talking about that ball of clouds, that's where the rain is. You can see it right there on the European forecast model. But it's not going to bring us widespread rainfall as we would sometimes see with these tropical storms. But you'll notice, see the ridge of high pressure, that H over the desert southwest? I should have put a low there just to kind of show you a little bit better, but there is a circle and a trough of low pressure in place. That is cooler air, at least not as hot as the temperatures that we're seeing over the desert southwest. That is also preventing that ridge from building as strong and building on top of us. See, that's where the biggest heat is. If we were to put that right on top of us, we'd be talking temperatures of 110, 115 degrees, right? But that cooler air, we continue to see one storm system after another over the Gulf of Alaska move closer to us, and that keeps that heat from building much stronger than normal, which, by the way, normal this time of the year is still pretty warm anyway you look at it. But you see the oranges and the reds and the yellows, that's all the moisture content. That is the tropical moisture. But look at tomorrow. There still is some moisture in place, but less of it. Okay, and that's what's going on there. Now we take you into your Friday. You see that? We've got drier air moving in. You see the lighter shades of blue and the brown? That's the drier air. The monsoonal moisture is over Southern California and over the desert Southwest, and in particular, out towards Arizona, for example. All right, I accidentally pushed a button here. Let's see if it advances for us. No, I fat fingered my keyboard, and that's why it's doing something funky. So I'm gonna have to just kind of do this. And now we're gonna go into the Storm Prediction Center's severe weather outlook. This is just looking at where the best potential for thunderstorms are. And this comes out of Norman, Oklahoma a couple of times a day. I think this is a pretty good representation of where we're gonna see. Of the 3 days, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, I think today is going to be the best chance for thunderstorms across the board in the higher elevations. I think the Storm Prediction Center might be overdoing it for tomorrow. I would want to just include Siskiyou, Modoc, Lassen, and Plumas counties. But I think everywhere else, most likely may not see a lot of activity. I want to show you, just for today, what the HRRR forecast model is showing here. I see what happened. Did we? No, we didn't. That is weird. That's what happened, folks. Okay. We kind of went into more detail than we should have. Now we're going into the severe weather outlook, and now we're taking a look at HRRR forecast model. Okay, so the HRRR forecast model, a little aggressive, but you see what's happening as we go through midday. All right, so it is showing the potential for still a few stray sprinkles, maybe a light shower in the valley. Now, going through the afternoon, all right, so we've got number one, maybe some afternoon convection. That is the daytime heating I was talking about. But number two, a bit of a disturbance coming around the area of high pressure that's off to our east that could bring better chances for thunderstorms for places like Lassen, Plumas counties, and even into Modoc County. But I think the HRRR forecast model may be extending it a little bit too far to the west for, say, Humboldt and Del Norte. I think I want to push that a little bit more to the east and push it over, say, Trinity County, western Siskiyou County. So the chances, I think, are going to be slimmer for Del Norte and Humboldt for today. All right, so for today, here's what we've got. Temperatures, about 100 degrees for the valley. Now, again, keep in mind, the reason it's going to be hotter, why? Because we're going to see less cloud cover. So as a result, the sun's going to heat us up. It's going to warm up to about 100 degrees, give or take, in the valley. Now, you see a lot of lightning strikes in the mountains. Don't let that scare you. That's not a big deal. It's just saying that the chances are there. Not every place that has a lightning strike means they're going to see lightning strikes in those cases. Of course, for the coast, mostly cloudy skies. For tonight, low 70s for the valley, 50s, even some 60s for the higher elevations, and upper 50s for the coast. So still pretty mild. So really, nothing unusual when we look at the 7-day forecast. About 100 degrees, give or take, for Redding. About the upper 90s for Red Bluff. Mid to upper 90s for Chico. There you go. No big heat waves heading our way anytime soon. Just pretty typical normal weather for this time of the year, at least temperatures. All right, now we go to the coast, low to mid 60s, inland, kind of going up and down a bit. You got 100 degrees today, upper 90s tomorrow, back down to the low 90s by Thursday, Friday. Chance for thunderstorms. Now, I got thunderstorms even on Wednesday for Weaverville. I think your chances Wednesday are going to be much, much slimmer. Siskiyou County today, tomorrow, Modoc County today, tomorrow, and Eastern Mountains today, tomorrow. And when I say today, tomorrow, I mean thunderstorms. Chances, at least. And then by Thursday, Friday, it's beginning to dry out. All right, let's take a look at that fire weather outlook. And you can see the fires that we have over there. There's each of those little fire icons. And now the one in Hoopa, north of Hoopa, that's pretty much done with, and we don't have to worry about that. Now, good news is the Brook Fire, no more evacuation orders. There are evacuation warnings for BEV 4250 and BEV 4370. Now you're going, what do you mean BEV? Know your zone, folks. Know your zone. They always say that. It's important to know your zone. Know your friends and family zone. Know your mother and your father's zone, your grandmother and grandfather. Know their zones as well, so you can keep them informed. All right, but what evacuation warning means is just be ready to go. You don't have to be out of there, but just be ready to go. 502 acres and 45% containment. So they're certainly looking at better conditions with that fire. 3-1 Pit Fire is at 95% containment. Loomis Fire at 80% containment. And taking a look at the 3-6 Wagon Fire, which, by the way, forward progress has been stopped on this fire. So I may be maybe not be reporting on the wagon fire throughout the rest of the week. Twain Fire is at 95% containment, 276 acres. So it's kind of good to see that we're not seeing these fires really take off, but we don't necessarily have conditions that are conducive for them to take off, which is good. The Elephant Fire at 92% contained, just under 14,000 acres. This one's a little bit more of a concern, obviously, the Biscar Fire, right? We've got evacuation orders for all the areas in red. This actually hasn't changed since yesterday. There are still evacuation orders for those areas. Just kind of show you the magnitude of the storm. It's 40,000 acres, right? And only about 5% containment. There you can see the evacuation orders. Take a look at your zone if you're in there, and the evacuation warnings. Check out to see if you're in that zone as well. This is obviously the fire that is northeast of Susanville. All right, we take a look at the smoke, and really most of the smoke is coming from the Biscar Fire in eastern Lassen County, but it's really not going very far. It's just staying in the eastern Lassen County region. And the fires from southern Oregon, we're not really seeing those, at least the smoke there, work its way into places like Siskiyou or Modoc County. So it looks like smoke-free there. Best chances for thunderstorms today. Tomorrow, we're also talking about the potential for some dry lightning. Listen, anytime this time of the year, if there's thunderstorms, we've got the potential for dry lightning. And that's why you can see here coming in from the National Weather Service, that chance for some isolated dry thunderstorms or dry lightning in general. By the way, I just gave you the latest updates on the fires, right? This is an ever-changing entity when it comes to these fires. So yeah, we're watching it live. You're getting live information. However, do note if you're watching this recording, then conditions will most likely have changed. So if you want to stay up to speed with what's going on with the fires, you want a one-stop shop. You don't want to see it on social, or you don't want to have to go to all these different locations, right? All you got to do is go to weathernorcal.com, click on the fire danger section, and everything you need is right there. From watch duty to any of the evacuation warnings and orders in the area, to red flag warnings, to fire weather danger, all of that. It's all there. One-stop shop. Check it out. Bookmark it. Put it on your bookmarks. Take a look at Redding. Yeah, still some clouds this morning, but I think a lot of these clouds are going to dissipate, and that will allow for a little bit more heating and hence the warmer temperatures, maybe a passing sprinkle or a light shower this morning. Yeah, still some clouds over Jones Valley Resort as well, and over Shasta Lake, sponsored by Elwood Ranch. We take a look at now Lake Shastina. Yeah, you got some ominous clouds there, but even some blue sky. So we're seeing some breaks in the clouds, even in many of the higher elevations. But we're starting off with some clouds this morning. You can clearly see looking out at Soda Ridge this morning. We've also got a look at, I didn't want to do that, Lassen Park. Yeah, a couple of clouds, but if you look in the upper left-hand corner of your screen there, you got some blue skies. That's nice to see. Take a look at Lake Oroville. You got mainly, actually, no, we got a few clouds out there this morning as well, but there are certainly some breaks in the clouds there as well. We take it down to Main Street Chico on Highway 32, and looks like we've got some sunshine there as well. Also out towards Highway 99 at Neal Road. Bald Hill West, actually Crescent City Harbor District. Look at that. We're actually starting to clear things out there this morning. Speaking of the coast, we got Jackie who has checked in this morning. She is saying, good morning from Trinidad, hanging out with the Marine layer again this morning. Hopefully, as you can see here, Crescent City Harbor District is cleared out this morning. Hopefully, we can kind of see that translate southward down into Humboldt County as well, towards Trinidad and Eureka, for example. This is Curtis Brown checking in this morning saying, from 7 miles west of Red Bluff, not much nighttime cooling, was 100 degrees yesterday. Oof. And of course, probably a little muggy, especially in the morning hours there. So I want to thank Curtis for checking in this morning. There's a look at Bald Hill West, looking down at Hoopa Valley this morning. Yeah, got some clouds. We should probably see some of those clouds dissipate here later on this morning and afternoon. We got some blue skies even out in Fort Jones this morning, looking down in Scott Valley. Well, Coffee with Krueger would not be possible without our sponsor, Wind River Resort and Casino. All right, so before we get to our deeper dive forecast, a word from Wind River.
It's time to saddle up and ride west. Wind River Resort and Casino is proud to bring Wyoming's own Ian Munsick to the Event Center stage. Friday, July 24th. Rising fast and bringing his signature sound. Ian brings the West to the rest. Tickets are just $60 plus fees. But they won't last long, so don't wait. Make it a country night to remember. Call 1-800-280-YOU-WIN to reserve your room and grab your tickets. Dust off those boots. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino.
All right, welcome back. Let's get to your deeper dive forecast. That's right. Today is Tuesday, July 21st. We're going to get into it now. We got a little bit earlier. I had a little mistake on where things were on the show, but tropical air is still in place. All right, so we've been talking about it since last week. Tropical storm, never made hurricane status, but tropical storm Elida. That's working its way northward, but it's basically coming over colder ocean waters, and hurricanes, tropical storms in general, they need warmer air, or warmer moisture, or warmer waters, that is, over the ocean. We don't have that. And so it just kind of breaks apart. Chance for showers and mountain thunderstorms today, back to normal by Thursday. What I mean by that is hot, dry, maybe a little breezy at times. Bigger heat near the beginning of August. All right, looking at the long-range models, maybe, right? There you go. So we're going to be looking at the potential for a bigger heat wave coming in. Not guaranteed just yet, but something I'm watching. All right, so looking at the radar again, not a lot of activity out there. Most of it is east of Highway 395 in eastern Modoc, eastern Lassen counties. A little bit of shower activity to the south and west of Modoc County. That could bring some showers and sprinkles for parts of the north coast here over the next hour or so. Now, right now, we're in the low, even some mid-70s. 76 degrees for Redding, 73 Chico. A little bit more, we saw on some of those cameras, there's a little bit more sunshine this morning, clearing skies. So that's allowing things to kind of cool off a little bit more this morning, but still mild. 60s for most of the higher elevations and low 50s for the coast right now. You see that ball of clouds off to our west, that's the area of low pressure from the remnants of Tropical Storm Elida. All right, so Tropical Storm Elida is moving northward, it's breaking apart. Now, within that ball of clouds, you got rain. But that's it. There's a little bit of shower activity, as I mentioned, but just due to the little bit of added instability, but nothing significant over Northern California. And by the way, we're also seeing some monsoonal moisture working its way around the area of high pressure. So we have a combination of tropical moisture from Elida, but also some monsoonal moisture coming in from the desert southwest. So as I mentioned, the storm is moving northward into the colder waters. And as I mentioned earlier, you need the warmer waters in order for these tropical storms to sustain themselves and survive. This is not happening. So within that ball of clouds I mentioned where that bulk of the rain is, yeah, it's off to our west. That's dissipating. Now the low pressure itself is still going to be there. That is preventing that ridge of high pressure over the desert southwest from building directly on top of us. Because the hottest temperatures on this map are right on the center and right below that ridge of high pressure. That's where the hottest temperatures are. That's not over us, is it? So instead of 110, 115, we're more like 100 degrees in the valley. That cooler air over the Gulf of Alaska stays in place, prevents that heat from building in. So we're just not seeing any big changes with our temperatures. Oranges, reds, yellows, that's all that monsoonal and tropical moisture. Less moisture tomorrow, that's the greens and the light blues, and then browns and light blues indicating much, much drier air. Typical summer, hot, dry conditions for Northern California by Thursday, Friday through the weekend, and even into early next week. There's some monsoonal moisture over Southern California by next week, but not over us. All right, so that's just kind of what we've got going on with that. Chances for thunderstorms, Storm Prediction Center for the areas in green today, and there's a look at tomorrow. I don't agree with this. I don't think it's going to be quite as extensive to the west. Best chances, I would say, would be in Siskiyou, Modoc, Lassen, and Plumas counties. Most likely Trinity County not seeing much tomorrow. All right, so for today, looking at our in-house forecast model, there you can see by midday. Remember I was showing you on the radar some of those light showers trying to work their way into Del Norte, Humboldt counties, really Humboldt County right now. Our in-house forecast model wants to bring it a little bit farther to the west, and I would anticipate So we can't rule out some activity for Del Norte, Humboldt counties, but I do also think we can see some activity in Trinity County and into Siskiyou County. But also we're seeing that activity in the eastern mountains. Now, as I mentioned, Futurecast is not showing any rain for the valley, but we still could see a stray sprinkle or light shower. Otherwise, most of the activity today will be in the higher elevations. Now look at tomorrow. It's not very active at all. It's only showing Modoc County and northeastern Lassen. As I mentioned, I do think that I want to include Siskiyou County at least, Modoc, Lassen, and Plumas counties for tomorrow. And then by Thursday and Friday, we're done. No more showers, no more thunderstorms. In fact, we probably won't even see much in the way of afternoon convection, at least those puffy cumulus clouds. A lot more sunshine. And that's just going to mean temperature is still fairly warm as well. Now, with the thunderstorms we see today, there is a flood watch for the Tahoe region. Why? Well, because these storms, when they produce, should they produce, could bring with them periods of heavy rainfall, and they may be slow-moving or even stationary storms. And when you have that kind of setup, you can see the potential for some flooding in some localized areas. But that all depends on the particular location of where those storms develop. Changing gears, let's talk about the temperatures. That blue line on the screen there, that's the normal high for Redding. That's 101 degrees. You see where our temperatures are going to be for the next 10 days? Just hanging out around the blue line, upper 90s to a little over 100 degrees. That's pretty much the situation for today, the next 7, even 10 days. Lake level is still very healthy. I say that every day because they are. And that's a good place to be when it comes to water. So we look at the wave heights. Not much change in the next 24 hours? No, we don't expect much change. There are no small correct advisories now. I don't anticipate any small correct advisories over the next 24 hours. But there is some fog out there. So just note that this morning there's some patchy, dense morning fog, especially as you start heading offshore there. There you can see northwest waves at 4 feet at 9 seconds and from the west at 2 feet at about 15 seconds. So here's your neighborhood forecast, sponsored by Dignity Health and Grange Co-op. We've got temperatures in the mid to upper 90s for Trinity County. Now, I got thunderstorms for both Tuesday and Wednesday. But do note that Wednesday is going to be a much slimmer chance than today. And then we don't expect any more thunderstorms after that. For the coast, all right, you may see a sprinkle or a light shower today. I don't anticipate any thunderstorms for Del Norte or Humboldt counties, but maybe some showers, even for the inland areas. Okay, so that could be the case today. Tomorrow, I don't think that's going to happen. And then by Thursday, low 90s. That continues into Friday. Siskiyou County, mid 90s. Chance for showers, thunderstorms for today and tomorrow. Chances best today. Really across the board for the mountains, today is the best chance. Tomorrow, the chances are slimmer, but we still have the potential for Siskiyou, Modoc, Lassen, and Plumas counties. And that's for the eastern mountains as well. Temperatures generally in the mid 90s for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday for places like Susanville. For the valley, temperatures mid to upper 90s, 99 degrees for Chico, 98 degrees for Las Molinas, and Corning about 97. Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast for Chico, mid to upper 90s. There you go. Next 7 days. Let's take it up to the north, 101 for Redding, 99 for Red Bluff, 101 for Palo Cedro. A little bit cooler in the foothills there. Lakehead about 94, 96 for Whiskey Town. Your 7-day forecast for Redding, upper 90s to about 100 degrees. That's it. No big changes, no big surprises. The main story for today and tomorrow is going to be that potential for mountain thunderstorms. And so that's kind of what we're talking about here. So there you go. There you go. All right. So that's it. That's the show. Let's see what's going on here this morning. We got Jackie. She's saying, come beat the heat this weekend. Oh, yeah, that's right. She was, oh, not. There you go. Come beat the heat this weekend. The annual Blackberry Festival is happening this Sunday at West Haven, California. All right, Jackie, thank you so much for the update there. So if you're into blackberries, Blackberry Festival. You know, I'm here in Mexico now, and I was at the grocery store looking for blackberries. Couldn't find any. Just raspberries and blueberries. Not a big fan of blueberries, although I know they're very healthy. But I love blackberries, love raspberries in my yogurt, especially in the morning. So a little bummed I don't get any blackberries, but that's what I get for leaving the North State, right? Very nice. Thank you, Jackie, for that update. Keep us updated through the week. Give us reminders throughout the week because sometimes people tend to forget. All right, let's see if there's anything going on with the calendars. We'll get that going here. I don't think there was a whole lot going on, really looking at it. Let's get this up ready for you. Take a look, and there we go. Okay. National Junk Food Day. Oh, that's just, okay. Well, if you like junk food, you can certainly get plenty of it. National Be Someone Day. What? Let's take a look what that means. On July 21st, National Be Someone Day challenges each of us to take 10 seconds to make a difference in a child's life. Well, there you go. How cool is that? What can you do in 10 seconds? We can shift gears, water a plant, or tell a bad joke. In 10 seconds, we can change our minds and say a prayer of thanks. We can walk into a room. In that time, we can register the pain of someone's eyes and begin to provide comfort. In a child advocacy, it takes one stable caring adult to completely alter a child's trajectory and build resilience against trauma. Well, very cool. I like that. So National Be Someone today. Make a difference in a child's life today, whether it's your own child, your grandchild, or a child that is heavily influenced by you and the decisions you make. Maybe you're a teacher, right? All of your kids. Make a difference in their lives. All right, that's going to do it for us today, folks. It is Tuesday, and we have got some... Be on the lookout for that. A little different about tripod, but not all right, so sorry about the music. Hopefully it wasn't too loud and now you can hear me. We're going to leave you with a couple of cameras in the area. A lot of cameras, including the ones we have here exclusive to Weather NorCal. Be sure to check them out at weathernorcal.com. Well, something's going on here. Sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate. There you go. That's going to do it for us today, folks. Have yourselves a great Tuesday, and we'll see you right here on Coffee with Krueger tomorrow morning at 6:30. Have a good one.